But all right, so let's go to this story showdown. So we've been doing a lot of these. This is the series where we take characters from a franchise and put them in a different setting just to see the outcome of it. Like I feel like we've been on the right path to kind of expanding the story more with the characters. So this time we chose Yu Yu Hakusho. So let's start with you.
Bro, let me pull up my story. For some reason was it up anymore?
Yeah, so Hitman Reborn. Nah, I tried watching this show. I couldn't. Like I don't know. It just wasn't. I just wasn't fucking with it. I fuck with Hitman because J Stars. He was fucking dirty.
Yeah, that's my dude. That's my guy. Suda.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I haven't watched that show since high school though. That was like sophomore year of high school. Okay, let me see. All right. So the shows that I picked was Yu Yu Hakusho, of course, and Hitman Reborn. Um, the way how I came up with this idea is because I went on Google and I was typing in like Yu Yu Hakusho fan art, and then I came across like the anniversary picture, and it was them in all suits, and I was like, they look like they're like the mob right there. I was like mob, and then I was like, wait, what animes have like people like in the Yakuza or something like that? And then I thought of Hitman Reborn, and then that's how I came up with it. So all right, let me just start. Let me just go on with the story. So it says the delinquent Yusuke Urameshi, who lives with his irresponsible young mother in Japan. Life has changed one fateful night when doing his first good deed of saving an innocent woman named Keiko from the Yakuza. Through this encounter, he was saved by a baby toddler named Koema, who was who has been watching over Yusuke for a very long time. This this act of bravery made Koema want to train Yusuke to obtain his birthright to be the leader of the Vongolia family, a powerful mafia gang that resides in Italy. Yusuke wanted to turn down the offer, but word got around Tokyo, Japan, that the heir to the family was found, and he was forced to live under the guidance of Koema, one of the seven Arcobaleno, who are said to be the strongest seven in the underworld. And then you see, I got the photo of Koema in there, real quick. Along his battles, he was able to find allies who decided to follow him, who attended Namimori High School. Kurobara, his rival that always wanted to be the number one delinquent of the school. And Kurobara is the Lightning Guardian. Here's some photos, Feel me? You got the blade, the spirit sword right there. I'll touch on the beast later. I'm gonna just keep on reading. But ended up becoming friends with Yusuke during a gang fight that took place involving his sister being a hostage. During his quest to become the Vongolia leader family, he had people that objected to claim Hiei and Kurama, two who are known to be the demons of the underworld. Okay, Hiei's thief who's a thief, learned about Mongolia's new heir and seeks to steal the gang for himself. But through battle, Yusuke was able to change his mind. On the other hand, Kurama is known to be the Night Fox, was the misunderstood and only joined the organized crime life in order to provide best medical attention to his sick mother, and Hiei was his childhood friend who seek to help them by allowing him to become a made man into the family. Okay. These boys must work together to put a stop to a man who seeks to rule the world using the power of the mob families known as Shinobu Sensui. Kuroara arrives from the future to obtain the former Mongolia family members to put a stop to Sensui, who currently rules the Mongolia family and the world in his timeline. But since losing the future, since losing the future guardians of the family who wield the rings of Mongolia, they had obtained a time travel technology to bring back the guardians of the past to save their families in the future. Kuwabara has given them new weapons that were created by Sensui to help them on their battle ahead, known as the Mongolia boxes. And then there's like the picture of the boxes and rings, and I have like some pictures of Sensui in the bottom. Okay, and then that's basically the story. Let me just explain the characters a little bit, like in terms of their weapons. So the idea that I got was since there's guardians in the Mongolia family, I knew that Kuwabara kind of looked like his ability was lightning, even though it's a spirit sword. So I gave him a lightning sword, basically a weapon, but I still call it spirit sword. I got a picture because there's these boxes that the main villain actually created for the family, and basically there's like little animals in them called like beasts. They're not always animals; they can be weapons as well. So I made all the characters have like their own little beast. So I have like a baby photo of Zapdos because I wanted the cool Bow to have like a electric beast. He's the lightning guardian. Then I made Hiei. I put the shadow sword in there because you know how Hiei wanted to get the shadow sword. That's how he met Yusuke. But yeah. So since Hiei has the Jigan Eye, I kind of incorporated that into his beast and called his beast Jigan, which is like a baby. I made him have like a baby like dark dragon right there. With Kurama, he's like the sun guardian. So I was trying to figure out a way to have like a creature that kind of symbolizes like the sun, kind of a little bit. And then when I heard Kurama, I just thought of instantly the nine-tailed fox. So I put like a cartoon, cute version of the nine-tailed fox right there. And then the same thing for his weapon. Like I know Kurama uses a whip. That's his like go-to weapon. So I just added like a whip into his combat form. And then I put a like cause as I was reading, I wanted to have like photos of what I was talking about. So these are the Mongolia rings. So each ring goes to a guardian. The one in the middle would go to Yusuke because he's like the leader. So Hiei would have, Kuwabara would have the yellow one, of course. Kurama would have the the red one, and then Hiei would have basically the purple one. And then these are the weapon boxes, like the beast boxes. So essentially, in order for them to summon their beast, they can put they can emit this energy. It's called like these flames into the rings, and like there's these little holes in basically all the boxes where they can just insert the flame into the box, and it allows them to summon like their a weapon or like a beast out of those boxes. And then when I got to Sensui, I was kind of thinking about like what type of character he is. He's a very dark character. He was like basically essentially like the first like spirit detective in the UU world. So I made him kind of like this villain where like he knows about all the families. Essentially, he wants to basically take over like all the families because of all the bad he's seen in the world. He feels like the world can be a better place in his image. So I made his ability called the Void, where he can basically go into different dimensions. his ability is not that, but the reason why I made his ability that was because the main villain in Hitman Reborn has the ability to kind of see into other dimensions and obtain like technology and intelligence from them. So I just want Sensui to have kind of like the same ability. Um, I made him also have a transformation too, and then his Vongolia box beast was Ra from Yu-Gi-Oh. I kind of wanted him to have like a beast that kind of went with his suit when he transformed. So I thought that was kind of cool. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Hitman Reborn. The thing about Hitman, it's just there's just so much that I don't know about it, so it's kind of like I'm just learning the new shit while you're telling me because I've never watched the show.
I even talk about Yusuke's guns. Like, so the guns that I have right here, because you know how Yusuke uses like the spirit gun and all that. So I was like, all right, I gotta find a weapon that would suit him, and I would say guns because he uses the spirit gun a lot. So that image of that gun being fired is actually from the actual Hitman Reborn show. That's a villain called Xanxus. And basically, yo, he's fire, bro. He can like fly with the guns, like, because basically, essentially, it's using like their flames. So he can fly with the guns by just shooting it and shit like that. So I think it's like a well-rounded weapon that Yusuke can use, and that's why I gave it to him. And then his spirit, his box Mongolia Beast is his spirit animal, Pooh from the actual show.
I didn't get to that part yet. I still watching Yu right now. But yeah, all right.
Yeah. And then the Koema just looked like one of the Arcabello people because they all have pacifiers. So Reborn is the Sun Guardian, and so in this scenario he would be like the I forgot what it's called. I think it's the Rain, something like that, a Cloud Guardian, because he has the blue one. He has a blue pacifier, so I just thought it matched.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good show. The reason why they look like kids, I guess they got cursed somehow, and they're like trapped in a little kid's body.
All right. I sent you mine on the email. Let me know when you're ready. Yeah, for years I feel like you had to explain a lot.
Yeah,
because there's just a lot to explain when it comes to Reborn. I feel like mine was pretty self-explanatory. Mm-hmm. Like there's no weapons or something like that, like no mystical weapons. It's more like them just get into it.
Oh my gosh, I already seen this. See, I was thinking this, but it's the same creator, bro.
I know. I could throw. I was trying so hard to find something for you, but I just couldn't, bro. Like
I had a feeling.
I just couldn't. That's what I thought. I was like, yo, he definitely did the same shit.
Nah. I had a feeling. Once when you said it, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, so I did Yu Hakusho X Hunter x Hunter. So I chose this one just because one, it has four main characters, which and a lot of the characters are very similar. So it was just kind of like easy to put them together, and it really took me a while to try to figure something out for them for Yu Hakusho. So once I seen this picture, I was like, yeah, this is it. That's it. You know what I mean? And for mine is pretty self-explanatory. It's not like, it's not like a deep dive or anything like that. It's just kind of straightforward. So I'm gonna go with Yusuke Frisk. So a short-tempered, impulsive young man who was always searching for adventure until the day he died saving his mom from being run over. To return, he must become a spirit detective tasked with protecting the life the protecting the human world, which he soon finds out his father was as well. To become a spirit detective, he must pass the Shishin exams, a yearly event that takes 10,000 teams of 4 and pits them against each other in several tests and stages. And for Yusuke, I chose his main move, and I mixed it pretty much. I did the same with all the characters. I mixed it with their counterparts from Hunter x Hunter. So for Yusuke, I chose the Jajenken gun, and he could, and just like in Hunter x Hunter, he does the rock paper scissors, and for him, he does the gun, probably like a shotgun, and like something else, like, you know what I mean. So it was just pretty straightforward. Like, there's no weapons or special weapons or special shit like that. That's just his main move. Just like in Hunter x Hunter, they really only had one special type of move that they used a lot. So the next character we have Hiei Zoldyck. The second to join Yusuke's team, Hiei prefers to keep his distance from others, so he often comes across as aloof and elusive. He has a rather cynical view of the world around him. And in spite of his young age, his way of thinking, knowledge, and being a skilled swordsman gives him the attitude of an adult. The Zoldyck family are all spirit detectives and have the ability to enter in and out of the spirit world. So his signature move is a Dark Flame Godspeed.
Damn, that just kind of sound crazy. I ain't gonna lie.
That's pretty self-explanatory. And then we have Kurapika Kurama. He's a cool and intelligent individual possessing vast knowledge. He is reluctant to open up to people easily because of his traumatic loss of his clan. The people of the Kurama clan were massacred because they contain rare DNA that, when angered, their eyes turn into a vivid shape of red and into the shape of a fox. So it's basically like what's it called? Like the ember fox. Like, that's what their eyes are called. Which triggers them to combine with the spirits of their ancestors and gives them an amazing increase in physical strength. And his signature move is the demonic plant chains. Just whipping shit. And then we have Leorio Kurobara. So Leorio has a very strict code of honor. He would do anything for his friends and for love. He can be clumsy, reckless, and rude, and is also stubborn, persistent, and also has a great sense of humor. He really wanted to become a spirit detective just because he was cocky enough to think it would be a breeze. He's not much of a fighter. In fact, his best skill is the ability to talk himself out of any situation. But when he's pushed, he is more than capable of protecting himself and the people he cares about. And his main signature move is the remote spirit blade. So I would have done a villain for this, but I feel like there's a somewhat main villain in Yu Yu Hakusho, but I feel like there's no real main villain in Hunter, so there was no way I could really mix and match them. So this is like the beginning of the show, like, if that makes any sense, you know what I mean? So it's them. I explain how Yusuke got to that point, and like his goal is to become human again, to get out of the spirit world, and to do that he has to team up with these 3 other characters to win the games and become a spirit detective. So it's kind of like I mixed the spirit detective aspect where Yusuke died and he had to come back, and once he comes back, like, the only way to stay there is to become a spirit detective. And then with the games of the Hunter x Hunter exams and stuff. So yeah, I pretty much made it straightforward. I didn't really I can't really do a story with these characters just because, one, I didn't know a lot about Yu Yu Hakusho, so I couldn't really I didn't want to go too dive deep because I am still watching the show. I don't really want to OD spoil myself, even though I know a lot like that's going on. Something that like I didn't know shit about Kurama. So like literally when I typed in Google, when I Googled Kurama, the first thing that popped up was Naruto. So like, you know what I mean? It's like, and then finding out that he's like 3 different people in one body. It's just like, there was just so much shit that it's like, I didn't want to overdo it and make these like 3 paragraphs each, like explaining their backstory. So I try to keep it slim, and this is, if anything, this is like a pitch to, Cartoon Network. Like, yo, we should make this show, and it kind of gives the synopsis of what the plot of the show is, them becoming spirit detectives, and then it gives them a backstory / synopsis of each of the characters.
Yeah, it's funny that you said that, because part of the reason why I made my story the way it is, because I didn't want to spoil anything for you. That's why I kind of made their abilities like more focused based off Hitman Reborn, and I kind of try to put it more so in the Hitman Reborn world, so that way like you wouldn't get like, I wouldn't like reveal too much about the story. Also, I felt like there was just like a lot of similarities. Like, this one has a little kid in the beginning telling Suno what to do, and then Koenma looks like one of those like little kids.
Yeah,
it just made sense to me. The only thing that didn't make sense to me is that like there were too many guardians in the show, and then there's only 4 characters in the show.
Yeah, it's hard to kind of
like I could add more people, but it would just be so much.
Yeah, you'd be reaching, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's the main. That's why I liked what I did with Hunter, just because there's the 4 main, and Yu Yu Hakusho, there's the 4 main, and most of them are very similar, so it was easy to mix and match. Yeah, and I couldn't really do a villain. I wanted to, but it's like, what was I gonna do? The clown nigga and like the final boss of Yu Yu Hakusho? Like, it wouldn't have really made sense. So yeah, I kind of just kept it straight, like plain, not too crazy. Yeah, in either shows there's no like special weapons that they have, like, you know what I mean? It's more based on their abilities that they have than like weapons and shit. Yeah, you know. The thing I had a problem with yours is I feel like it kind of got too confusing, like, because you said it because I don't know shit about Hitman, so it starts off with Hitmans and like the mafia and shit, and then you started touching up on time travel and boxes with demons in it and shit. I was just like, what?
So when I call Kurama and Hiei demons, they're not actually demons.
I was talking about the niggas in the boxes.
Oh yeah, so they're called they don't really have a name. Like, there are the Vongolia boxes, which what the Gardens have, but they were all made by the main villain in that show. So when they put their flames into the box, it summons a beast that's within inside the box. It can be a beast. There's several types. The reason why I didn't really go too deep into it, because it's really complex. So there's weapons. You can find weapons in the boxes. You can find the beast in the box, and you're not limited. They have like if you find like multiple boxes, you can open up any box you want, as long as it goes with your element. So basically, there's no demons or anything like that in the show. It's just like there's like special creatures that they can summon. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, and then the time travel shit, I was just like,
yeah, because basically there's this arc where one of themselves come back in the past, because everyone else in their world is all dead. So they're like, yo, how we're gonna beat this guy? We don't have any of the Guardians. So they ended up finding out how to time travel back, and they ended up getting the kid versions of themselves to that world. But the reason why they were able to beat the boss as the kids is because they got like more weapons and special weapons. Like, they had the boxes and shit. It's
I
a
feel
really
like
complex show. That's why,
super complex.
yeah, that's why I was really trying to explain a lot, so it wouldn't be too out of pocket where you won't even know what's going on at all.
Yeah, I was really lost. I was trying to figure out, like, you know, but it makes sense because there's a lot to that versus I can't put the whole series of Hunter x Hunter in this, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I try to keep it simple.
And I thought Kuwabara would be probably like the best person to come back because I feel like it's always the beat people, like the people that are not like super nice are the ones that like come back to like that. I feel like if there's like time travel involved and someone needs to come back to warn the others, it's usually like the weakest nigga.
I mean, you know, it makes sense. So yeah, if you were to watch either show, which one would you choose?
Definitely the one I picked.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think it's not like I disagree with you. It just I feel like yours is a little confusing versus mine is kind of straightforward. You know what I mean? It's just straight up them fighting, them trying to get out the world, them trying to get out the spirit world type shit. You know what I mean?
I feel like mine is pretty straightforward too if you really just understand it. I think the reason why, because all it is like they're Yusuke's finding out that he's this leader of this mafia gang, and then there's this guy named Sensui who wants to essentially just take over, and then one of their members come back in time to help put a stop to Sensui, and that's essentially all the show is. It's not really complex.
I mean, you can't say it's straightforward when you're throwing in time travel, and then you're throwing in demon boxes with elemental rings. Like, I thought this was a mafia show. Like, you know,
it is a mafia show.
I don't get how those correlate. How does those correlate? Like, you know what I mean? Like, where does this time travel shit come from? Like, you know, like where does this elemental abilities come from? Like,
so where do they come from? It's just been in the family. It's been handed down in the family for like years, for centuries, for generations.
But yeah, at least like what I'm saying is, I put all that in the spirit world. You know what I mean? Like, of course they can have powers and they get out or whatever, but I put all that in a contained story, in a contained area where it would make sense because he died, so he goes to the spirit world. You know what I mean? Where I mean, maybe it would make more sense if I watched Hitman Reborn, but I didn't watch it, so I really don't know. It's like, it was just how lackadaisical you threw in time travel. It was just like, where did that come from? Like, I was just so confused.
So in the show, I have to explain the show. So in the show, they didn't have in the beginning of the show, they didn't have like those boxes. They started getting those boxes towards the future because the main villain is the one that created those boxes to go with the rings. So those rings were just to be worn at first, but then when they head into the future, they learn about this new type of technology over there, where they have the rings power the boxes, basically, essentially. And then since everyone was dead, the family was working on technology to discover how to get back in time to get the guardians from the past, and that's what happened in the show. I don't know any way how to explain it better than that.
So is it technology or is it like?
It's technology.
So it has nothing to do with spirits and like energy type shit. It's technology. It's like technology, and there is some like there's flames, like there's like. So anyone who's a guardian can like summon their flame. So everyone has like their own flame, so, like source of like. Everybody or just the head of the mafia? Anybody. Sense of like life energy. When you put on the ring, like like the energy is supposed to match the ring that you have. So like they're not the only ones with with rings. So like other families have rings too. So the boss that they were fighting,
he had a group of men too that also had rings, and they had all their own abilities. And the boxes that they have is there's a Vongolia box, there's a special boxes, but there's thousands of them. You know what I mean? So they can pick up like multiple boxes, but as long as they it goes with their elements, they can use that box. So say if like a guardian of lightning found like a red box like for like a fire, like for the guardian of sun or something like that, they can't use that box because their flames doesn't go with doesn't match up with that element.
Nah, I got it. I understand, but I do feel like sometimes simple is better. I feel like my show is like straightforward. It's that, you know, it's just niggas fighting tournament. You know, straight to the shits. Like, you know, I feel like you have to explain a lot, and there's a reason for that. You know what I mean? Like, you have to explain where all these things come from when I didn't really have to explain anything. Like, does that make sense? Like, I didn't have to explain their spirit, energy, and everybody. Like, I didn't have to do that. It just makes sense with the show.
But I feel like the reason why you don't have to explain because everyone really knows the show.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Even if you didn't know the show, you would get this. Like what I just said. Niggas, but you died, you become the only way to come back, spirit detective. You have to beat the Shinshin exams. There's people there, there's 10,000 teams. You have to win, you become a spirit detective. Bada bing, bada boom. Like, you know?
I don't know. I don't see how that's more simpler.
Like, you're talking about babies. You're talking about their spirit babies. Like,
I didn't have to mention that. I just mentioned that because.
But I'm just saying. I was talking about the package you presented to me. What you presented to me. You know.
I mean,
to each his own, though. It makes sense. Yeah, I think to each his own. But I feel like mine is definitely. I like mine because it's the best of both worlds. And literally, you get the best of Yu Yu Hakusho and Hunter. I don't know shit about Mob, so I'm a fucking hitman. So it was a lot of hitman. You know. But I'll give this one a tie. You know, I'll give this one a tie.
I don't know, buddy.
What? Like,
I feel like I got this one.
Why that? Why do you think that is? Exactly.
I don't know. I just felt like when you were saying yours, it was basically essentially like just the same show.
It's both of the shows combined, yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, you know. Gon doesn't die. You know, he's not an asshole. There's no detective work. But yeah, all right. Well, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Glamour of wearing diamonds.
Diamonds bring
Status.
elegance and prestige. Their brilliance makes